Anfernee Simons saves the Celtics by making history, and why Jayson Tatum should be paying very close attention to what happened in that fourth quarter right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. They've got a Saturday night game in Atlanta. I will be at State Farm Arena giving you a podcast from State Farm Arena, hopefully somewhere. So make sure you subscribe where you get your podcast, watch the show on YouTube. Enjoy it. Have some fun with me. I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I have been doing this podcast for 10 years. I've been covering the team for 20, and I've written a couple books about the team as well. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. It's Friday night, so open up the FanDuel app at 6 p.m. Eastern from 6 to 7:30. You get NBA Happy Hour with a bunch of specials dropping, so make sure you do that on the FanDuel app. All right, Boston Celtics beat the Miami Heat by 5, which is surprising to me. A 119-114 win, because the way this game started, awful. If you missed it, just watch the last 10 minutes or watch whenever Anfernee Simons was in. Later on, I'll tell you why Jayson Tatum should be paying very close attention to how the fourth quarter went. We'll get into individual performances, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, Payton Pritchard, a variety of different individual performances. They're not the only ones I'll get to. But we'll start with the story of the game, which is the just god-awful beginning, Anfernee Simons making history, and second chance points. Those were the things that saved the Celtics. The Celtics fell behind by 19. That first quarter was, I can't even begin to accurately describe it without violating a bunch of rules and making you probably swerve off the road. It's just, the joke would be for me to start talking and bleeping out all of the things, to be one long tone of all the things to describe how bad the Celtics looked, which is surprising to me. I guess it shouldn't be, because it's 2 nights in Miami. That Miami flu is a real thing. I would not be surprised if the Celtics found their way to a good time last night. And hey, that's how it goes, right? They would not be the first team. They would not be the last. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I don't know. But it sure looked like it. It sure looked like they were out. It sure looked like they came in not feeling right, not looking like themselves, because they turned the ball over like crazy. They couldn't hit shots. Jaylen Brown looked like he was still asleep. It was awful. So the Celtics fell behind by 19. And then Anfernee Simons comes in. This wasn't just, oh, wow, Anfernee got hot, 18-point fourth quarter, which is what he had. It was a 39-point game where every time he checked in, he was bailing the Celtics out. It really was like first quarter. He comes in, Celtics were down 19, cut it eventually down to 11. Celtics fall behind a little bit more, get it down to 10 at halftime. Celtics get down a little bit in the third quarter. It goes up to like 15 or 16 or whatever. Here comes Anfernee. Let's get it back down to 10. It was very much like a dad just helping a kid ride a bike or learn how to ice skate or something, where the Celtics were just wobbly and falling over themselves, and Simons had to come in and be like, no, we're just going to prop you up a little bit. And then at the end, he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Or maybe it's more like a science project where the whole thing was just, oh, we're going to make a solar system, and we're not going to argue about whether Pluto is or isn't a planet. We're going to just do this. Oh, you dropped that. Okay, no problem. I'm going to help you put this. And then at the end, it's like, you know what? I'm done. This thing is due tomorrow. I'm going to put this thing together. We're just going to put your name on it. You're going to get an A. Thank you. Goodbye. That's my analogy for this game. Anfernee just did everything. He got super hot in this game. He was, let's see, what did he shoot from three? 7 of 16. So 13 of 28 overall. The 39 points is the most scored by a Celtic off the bench in history. So that's obviously anytime you can do something historic for the Celtics, that was that's really great. So Simons comes in and 6 of 6 from the line. He had a couple free throws at the end to ice the game. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And here's the thing with Simons. Joe Mazzulla is so great with this because this was an offensive explosion. He helped the Celtics. He saved them. This was absolute. Without Anfernee Simons, this would have been, honestly, it might have been a 40-point loss. This was, they had no answers from Bam Adebayo early on. Bam was just destroying the Miyashkata. Then Garza came in, he was destroying Garza. And I was like, can we maybe try Jordan Walsh on him? Can you try somebody else on him and just maybe prevent him from getting off the dribble and destroying you? They had no answers for Norm Powell. They just couldn't. It was terrible. So without Simons, they would have lost by who knows how much. It would have been over at halftime. But Joe Mazzulla is like, hey, yeah, the scoring is great, but his defense, he had a steal. He had that steal was so great. And, the rebounding was, in traffic, and that was so good, and blah, blah, blah. Like, Joe Mazzulla absolutely refuses to credit, to praise Anfernee Simons without mentioning the defense. And he does the same thing with Sam Hauser, actually. He just will not let anybody be one-sided on in their assessment of Simons. And he does have a bit of a point. Like, Simons has improved his defense and has been has been less of a one-dimensional player than he has in the past. So but Simons was just incredible and was like the main reason why the Celtics were able to stay in this game, but also not just the only reason, though. The main reason, but not the only reason. Celtics 31-7 in second chance points. And honestly, I didn't go back and total them up, but a lot of Simons' shots were second chances. Like, the reason why the Celtics were up to 31 on their second chance points, they were 10 of 15 on second chance opportunities, because Simons was hitting a lot of these shots. Like, Simons got a bunch of second chances. And I think ultimately the efforts by Jordan Walsh, by Luka Garza, Ugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman got in there for an offensive rebound. You had everybody except for Anfernee Simons had at least one offensive rebound. Those second chances were critical to the Celtics, because you don't get a lot of those opportunities. Anfernee Simons doesn't get 28 shots if the second chances weren't there, and the Celtics don't win that margin, right? They had 91 shots overall. You have 4 more shots to make 2 more than the Miami Heat. They were 41 of 91. The Heat were 39 of 87. The Celtics 13 of 39 from 3. Miami 15 of 42. Now their shooting early really looked like it was going to destroy the Celtics. The first quarter was 6 of 12 for Miami. And if it wasn't for Simons coming in for that, 11 points, like, look at the first quarter. Jaylen Brown, 1 of 4 3-points. Sam Hauser had the first 4 points. Like, it was a 4-3 lead for the Celtics. Funny, Hauser was responsible for both leads. He had the 2 points, the 2 baskets to make it 4-3, and then he hit the 3-pointer on a pass from Simons, which, when we come back, we'll talk about like the gravity of Simons, and before we get to the individual performances, because it was the gravity of Simons that allowed Sam to hit that 3-pointer to take the lead. But the Celtics got kind of nothing in that first quarter from their starters, but it was 11 points from Simons, 5 from Luka Garza. That gravity was great, and it made Miami do something that I didn't expect them to do, and they maybe shouldn't have done, but they had no choice. We'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. The season is heating up. We're about halfway through it. DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through, whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, or just your favorite player. DoorDash makes the entire season more fun because every player has their bag. With DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are nights where your team stresses you out, like the first quarter of this game, and maybe you were door dashing so you can get some dessert right away to get you through that first half of the game. But then the late night Anfernee Simons explosion hits, and suddenly you need some chips. Well, DoorDash is built exactly for that. And if the group chat says pull up, DoorDash, make sure you show up prepared. You can get snacks. You can get a phone charger for the friend that's always asking to borrow yours. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season delivered right to your door. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day and the number one Celtics podcast in the world, in the universe, in the known whatever. I don't know what else to say, but I will say that the Locked On Podcast Network is the number one sports podcast network around as well. And that's because of you, the everydayer. I would love to have you join the Everydayers Club. You get ad-free audio. You get access to our Discord server where there's in-game chats. There's merchandise drops. There's a whole lot happening on the Everydayers Club. So check that out. LockedOnCeltics.supercast.com, LockedOnCeltics.supercast.com. $5 a month or $50 for the year. You get a couple months free. So go check that out. All right, let's get back to the conversation. You know, what made Simons so effective and especially in the stretch in that fourth quarter was how Miami kind of had no choice but to sell out and try to blitz him, try to attack him. Now, Simons had 18 points in the fourth quarter, but he had 2 assists, and there may be another hockey assist or 2 in there as well because they were blitzing him. And by blitzing him, all of a sudden now Simons is giving the ball up, and you have Hauser, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, all on the floor. So you're asking your defense to go into rotation and to have to now run around where Jaylen Brown has the ball. Hauser has the ball open for a shot. One of the assists, I know there's one hockey assist in there because it was the swing to Hauser who swung it over to Jaylen Brown for a 3-pointer in that fourth quarter. So that's at least one that I remember. The blitzing was necessary, but also it put them in an impossible spot because now Boston's best shooter is wide open and their best player is wide open and their best fourth quarter player is wide open. And they were able to take advantage of that. Fouls, just moving the ball, finishing. It was all because Simons was just on fire and Miami had no choice but to sell out. So good for Simons for just at this point, I'm leaning heavily towards the don't trade him camp. I don't know what's going to happen at the deadline. We're less than 3 weeks from the deadline. It's February 5th. I don't know what kind of move is out there, but do not trade Anfernee Simons just to trade him. Do not dump him for salary. Do not dump him for cash, tax relief, none of that stuff. You're here, you're in it. Let this guy cook. And I hope that he can be this comfortable in the 6-man role forever and can learn how to play with Jayson Tatum and all of that. So I'm excited for the potential here. I think the Celtics might have actually stumbled onto something. If they can get him at the right price, there's the potential for him to be really, really important. All right. So Jaylen, as we move into individual performances, Jaylen Brown's first half was just, I'm not even going to harp on it. It was bad. It was just bad. He had 4 turnovers in the first half, and he had 5. So he had 1 in the second half, none in the fourth quarter. The Celtics didn't turn it over at all in the fourth quarter. So nice recovery for Boston, who had 13 turnovers for 18 Miami points. Cleaning that up at the end was important and a big part of why they were able to make this comeback. Hey, a clutch win, by the way. Clutch win for the Boston Celtics. That's important to get those clutch wins and win this thing kind of going away. The no turnovers thing was huge. Jaylen, he said it after the game. I was a little sluggish, a step slow. You can't lie, can't hide it. He was. And I don't know why. He didn't say why. But I will give him the credit of the third quarter. He was he had 15 points, 4 of 10 shooting, got to the line 7 times, made all 7 free throws. There's all the free throws the Celtics took in the third quarter. That was a big thing because the Heat were able to build their lead up again to 15, and the Celtics got it back down to 10 heading into the fourth quarter. It was, up 19, back to 11, up 14, up 16, back to 10, up 15, back to 10. The Celtics, to their credit, they never let it get away from them. It was this close in the first quarter, but they didn't let it get away from them, which is important. So Jaylen's third quarter was great. Now I'm going to get to his fourth quarter in the next segment, a little bit of a tease. Derrick White did not have the best game of his life as far as shooting. Only took 7 shots, only had 8 points, no 3-pointers. His streak of 77 games, by far the longest streak in Celtics history. 77 games with a made 3-pointer. That streak came to an end in this game. So offensively, you're like, 8 points, but 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 block shots. One of them on Norm Powell late in the game, a big block there. He did enough of the other things that he ended up being a big positive. The starters were bad, right? Jaylen was a -10. They won this game by 5. Jaylen was a -10. Hauser was +1. Cato was -1. Pritchard was -20. Just side note, tough one for Pritchard, right? This was, but Joe did the right thing and sat him the whole fourth quarter. Simons had it going, and he just said, "You know what, Payton, you're gonna have to sit this one out." And Payton will bounce back. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in Atlanta and in Detroit. I will be there for both of those games. So, but Pritchard he did have 8 assists, but it was a -20. They won by 5, and he was a -20. But Derrick, numbers don't scream out at you, but he was a +12. A +12. You had Ugo Gonzalez is a +19. Ugo just comes in there and makes positive things happen. Anfernee Simons +18, and then Derrick White +12. So D. White finds his way to making a positive impact. Again, Luka Garza was big. I thought Luka, he did what he does, right? He goes in, he sets picks, and he frees guys up, and he forces the defense to adjust, and then he gets down there and finishes. He's not going to finish many lobs or anything like that, but he gets there and gets the layups, or he puts himself in position because his screens force the defense to make decisions, and sometimes you're not making the right decisions, and 2 guys go to 1, and there's a little bit of chaos, and he is great at navigating the chaos and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna slide down here, and somebody's gonna take the shot, and I'm just gonna be here for the tip in. And when Luka Garza's on the floor, if you're Derrick White or Payton Pritchard or Jaylen Brown, you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to take this shot. I'm going to take this shot, and it's going to be tough, but I know these 2 guys are on me. If I take this shot, maybe a couple of these guys challenge it. I got Luka Garza down there. He's going to clean this up. It's almost like the Kobe assist where I'm going to take the shot, I'm going to miss, and he's going to clean it up, and we're going to be fine. There's this kind of mental thing where I know I've got the best offensive rebounder around here. I'm just going to put it up on the rim and see. If it's a tough shot that goes in, it goes in. But if it doesn't, the defense has overreacted to me taking the shot, and I got my guy down there that's going to clean it up, and we're going to be fine. So that's kind of like a little underrated impact that Garza has out there. So the bench was obviously phenomenal. The bench points are going to be a little out of whack because of Simons having 39. But even without Simons, what's that? 17 points to like the Heat had 15, 21. So even without Simons, it was 21 to 17, which is fine. Like, I'd never expect the Celtics bench to outscore anybody. But then Simons, you throw, oh, by the way, Simons had 39, and the bench numbers just go crazy. But great job by the bench. And with Miami being shorthanded, the bench, I knew the bench needed to step up, and they did. And you make up for a tough night for Payton Pritchard. Okay. Jayson Tatum, were you paying attention to what happened in the fourth quarter? I'll tell you why it was important when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays are already different here during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the game tips off, FanDuel is giving you a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. This is the Friday show, so Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, open up the FanDuel app, and you're going to get to NBA Happy Hour, which gives you all sorts of boosts, bonuses, surprises. You never know what you're going to get over there. So you open up the FanDuel app at 6 p.m. Eastern. You got about an hour and a half to kind of cruise through and figure out, really think about it, because the boosts, the bonuses, the surprises, you never know what is going to give you your best chance at maybe getting a nice little payout on that night. So it gives you just a little extra energy on Friday nights without overthinking it. So before tip-off, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, check out what's dropping at NBA Happy Hour. Now, you're also going to get the prompt on the FanDuel app to set your limit, set your budget. Please do that. Whatever you would normally spend on a night out, right? That's your disposable income. That's what you can afford to lose. So just think of it as spending it on your night out. If you hit a cold streak, if you were Jaylen Brown in the first half of this game, then, hey, FanDuel will read it, stop it, and say, okay, you're cut off. You're gambling responsibly. Come back next time when you've replenished your funds, and we'll try it again. Not a big deal. So make sure you're gambling responsibly, and then check out NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics the first listen, your first listen every day. Check out Locked On NBA and Locked On NBA Game Night. 2 shows on the same feed. I do Game Night on Wednesdays with Jake Madison. We're covering every game in the league that night. So that's a 7-day-a-week podcast, all the games, everything you need to know. And then the afternoons, they cover all the big storylines. So you have the nitty-gritty, you have the big picture stuff, all of it, all on one feed. So check it out. So I think that Jayson Tatum, I mean, he was there, he was watching it. I think this is an important kind of thing for Tatum to pay attention to in this game, because in the fourth quarter, Jaylen Brown checked back in. He had tough first half. He had the big third quarter. Simons is going off. And I think it's important that Jaylen didn't try to force anything in this fourth quarter. He didn't try to big time Simons. He didn't say, I'm the guy. It's my turn. Set picks for me. Give me the Tyler Hero matchup and let me cook. No, in fact, he played off the ball. He set up in the corner. He was 2 passes away. He came up on one. There was one play in particular where Jaylen had the ball on the right side, and I forget who his matchup was, but he looked and he saw that Hero was already matched up on Simons. So Jaylen was just like, here you go, boop, little drop off, and I'm going to get out of your way. Really important for him to do that. And, after the game, he was asked about it, and the question was like, how was it basically, how was it kind of giving up, taking a step back and letting somebody else cook, which he did. I forget what game it was where was it the Knicks where Jaylen let Jordan Walsh kind of cook and they ended up winning that game. And Jaylen says, I've done it my whole career. I've played alongside Jayson Tatum. So, that's nothing new. Which I couldn't tell. Was there some shade in there? I don't know. It's hard to say. But he's right. Been playing next to Jayson Tatum his whole career. And it's just like, okay, I got to step aside and let somebody else cook. But to do it when you're the number one option, this is what Jayson should be watching. Because Jaylen has earned plenty of opportunity to go cook in that situation, to be like, okay, this was great. You've scored 30. I'm going to close this out. Right? That's what superstars do. I'm going to close this out now. And for him to set the picks and to give up the matchup and to, set up in a corner and space the floor, Jayson's going to have to do that. Jayson, I hope that Jayson is in that frame of mind where he understands, like, hey, if Jaylen is the one that's cooking like this, if Jaylen's the one that's got it going and is shooting 50% from the field, and I'm the one that's shooting 30-something%, even though Jayson has earned all the confidence in the world and, you don't stop shooting because the next one's the one that's going to go in that situation, if Jaylen's the one that's cooking, if Jaylen's the one that's got it going on like Anfernee Simons, and Jayson is in that Jaylen role from this game, like Jayson is going to have to be the one that's like, you know what? I will set the picks for you. I have Tyler Hero on me. Instead of just being like, I'm going to cook, give me the ball, I've got the matchup. He needs to be like, you know what, Jaylen, I'm going to give you this matchup. You've had it going all night long. I am going to step aside and let you finish this job that you started. Jayson's going to have to do that because I don't think he's always been willing to do that. And I think now the season that Jaylen has had, it's important that this dynamic is what happens moving forward. So to me, I'm hoping that Jayson looked at this situation, looked at how Jaylen was handling the situation, and when that comes up, whenever, if it's later this season or next season or whatever, I hope that Jayson kind of is like, yeah, you know what, I'm willing to, I'll go set up in the corner, and maybe Jaylen gets double teamed and somebody sets a pin down for Jayson and he comes up and catches the ball on the move and he gets to score anyway. But letting Jaylen be the primary guy more often now that Jayson's been out, now that Jaylen has earned it, now that we see exactly all of the stuff Jaylen is capable of, I want to see a little bit more even distribution based on how the game is going. I want to see a little bit more kind of like free flowing, no problem. We're going to go this way. This is the Jaylen finish episode. So that's what I hope that Jayson takes away from this. Celtics come out of this with an incredible win, outscoring Miami 15 points in the fourth quarter, all thanks to Anfernee Simons. And now the Celtics are in second place again. Look at this. The Detroit Pistons won. Did the Knicks play tonight? No, they're just, the Knicks have lost 2 in a row, and now the Celtics are 25-15. So there they are, 4.5 games behind Detroit. They've got a game against Detroit coming up on Monday, MLK Day. So that's going to be a fun one. The Celtics, even with a little bit of a swoon, 6-4 in their last 10, coming off 3 losses in 4 games, they're still right there. So great stuff. I will be in Atlanta on Saturday. So if you're in Atlanta, come say hi. But next podcast will be from Atlanta after the Celtics-Hawks game. And then the podcast after that will be from Detroit's 2 podcasts from Detroit and back on the schedule. So it's a Monday through Friday show with bonus podcasts when they play on weekends. Show's free. It's available everywhere. If you want to pay $5 a month to get it ad free, join the Everydayers Club at LockedOnCeltics.supercast.com. And then now I would love for you to share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.